Hey guys, welcome back to the Scariest Movie Ever channel on YouTube for another installment of Catching Up with KJ. It's a show I started probably 6 years ago, did it for several years. Then I did KJ's What Happened. Still doing KJ's What Happened, but I'd like to bring these back every now and then. It's just a chance for us to hang out in the chat. Ask me anything. We'll get into that in a little bit, but over in the chat here in a while, I'll ask you to bring up any subject you want, or if you have any questions, anything you want to talk about, and I'll answer the best I can. And I know there's a lot of people out there scared and in fear and feeling bad and depressed, but I got to say, I actually got some really good news personally, just recently. It turns out I'm going to save a load of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico. So I'm pretty excited about that. I got that going for me. Old joke, I know, but it's a good one. But for real, man, I hope you guys are hanging in there. I know it's crazy right now. I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to talk about the election, everything that's happening. Just keep in mind, I did a show yesterday. We talked a little bit about this, but if you really sit back and think about it and not be so much in the flesh about it, but more in the spirit. Think about what we've been talking about around these parts 5, 6, 7 years. The veil's lifting, and it's a dividing time. We're literally seeing the wheat and the chaff being separated, the wheat and the tares, the sheep and the goats. So evil has to encroach. Evil has to grow. Evil has to get much more obvious. And that's totally what's happening right here. It's the way I see it. It's so obvious, the lies, the deception, the fraud, the evil. It's so obvious. And the entire mainstream media and even local media is covering for it. They're good with it. Even Fox News. Yeah, hey, you can't trust Fox News. It's none of it. But it's that evil encroaching. It's that evil becoming much more obvious for such a time as this. We know in Revelation there'll come a time that Christians are persecuted. And it'll be unlike anything the world's ever seen before. Well, how do we get to that point? People are starting to see it now. And now you're starting to see that division, aren't you? Now you're starting to see that mass delusional, the massive amount of people that are delusional. Also the massive amount of people that are just wicked. I can't even follow much news on all this stuff the last few days. It's irritating, obviously. It's obnoxious. It's irritating. It's aggravating. My local news tonight, I had the TV on, the local news came on, and they were just all so excited. Wow, Biden pulled ahead in all 3 of these states already, and it's looking good. And I'm just like, what in the... But I get it. I understand. I mean, Biden's a real piece of trash. You couldn't get much more disgusting, gross, degenerate, than Biden and his whole family. The epitome of wickedness, really. And we get it. We see it. We understand. Still, so many people are just shocked. How could this happen? How could this be? That's what it is, man. Evil encroaching. Evil seemingly getting more stronger in this world. And that dividing line taking place. And this isn't our home. That's the other thing. We don't belong here. And we know it. And the world knows it. They see us. They see us. We're strangers in a strange land, man. I always consider myself a visitor here. I'm just passing through. And I'm good to get out. Just like a lot of you, I'm good to go. Let's roll out. And it's not me sitting around here all day being bummed out and sad and just hating life. No, that's not it. I found peace. I've got my peace with all this. I have for a long time. I couldn't continue doing this, without going mental if I didn't have my spirit right with all this stuff. So I know what it is. All right, let me jump over here to the chat here now that we're starting to get some people in. And I do got a couple things I want to talk about real quick, and then we'll kind of get into just general questions, okay? Let's do this. So here's the deal. First off, there's something I really need to talk to you guys about. So many of you know I had launched Thescariestmovieever.tv. At first, I advertised it as Roku because that's what I thought it was. The problem is the people who've been helping me set this up for like a month, I'm always the last to know the most important information. So I finally got it set up, and is nothing about money. The whole idea was the exclusivity of it and also the protection of the material. So then I find out a few nights ago, I actually did my KJ's What Happened live over there. And then I find out the very next day that any live shows I do over there don't stay. They go away. I'm like, what's the point of this then? Why did I even start this? You see? They're saying, well, no, you're going to have to, broadcast somewhere else, then upload it over here. I'm like, what's the point? This whole time I was under the assumption I could upload here and it would stay and it'd be safe. So I'll be doing a small video and talking to Thescariestmovieever.tv. Thank you for those of you who cared enough to actually follow and try this. It turned out to be, I believe, a failed experiment, but I'll leave that in your hands. If y'all like it and you want me to keep it, everything I upload on YouTube or my website, I'll upload there from now on if you want to keep that. If not, that's fine. I think you got like a 7-day free pass anyway, just starting off. So, but I'll leave a little video over there for you guys and talk to you. And I'm sorry it didn't work out, man. It didn't work out the way I thought. I put a lot of energy into it, and now I just got to let it go. Or, like I said, I'll keep it if some of y'all want to keep it. I've even stopped advertising it for now. I was very disappointed with the way it all turned out. I did a whole show, 3-hour-long KJ's What Happened the other night, and there's nowhere to be found. So now I'm ready to flip it all around and try something else. One thing I'm thinking of is that so much is happening now, and it's happening so much quicker. Maybe instead of one KJ's What Happened every week, I'll break it into 2, maybe smaller segments. I say smaller, they'll probably still be a couple hours long. But maybe I'll do a KJ's What Happened on Mondays and on Fridays. Thinking of trying that. Then I can do my regular videos during the week, either on YouTube or on my website. Mostly YouTube, of course, but kind of get back into that routine and maybe get that started. I even thought of starting a Twitch account, going over to Twitch, broadcasting from Twitch, and then it'll link straight to my YouTube. I'm pretty sure I can broadcast live on Twitch and it shows up on YouTube at the same time. And that's just to broaden my horizons and get out into more sites and just kind of grow things up a little bit. But I want to get my KJ's What Happened back on track and just get you guys seeing it. I want to get it to you. So that's kind of what I'm working on. Again, thank you very much for those of you who actually tried out Scariestmovieever.tv. I'm sorry it didn't quite work out the way I intended or thought, but I didn't even know most of this information until the end. But anyway, we forge ahead. We move on. All right, so let me jump over here to the chat. And really, guys, it's anything you guys want to talk about. I'm going to go through here. There'll be times, don't feel like you have to put your question in like every 5 minutes because the chat goes fast. Sometimes I take some time on a question, and I'll just, once I get through a few of them, I'll let you guys know I'm refreshing the chat and to please put your questions in again or topics, whatever you want to talk about. So let me go ahead and just start scrolling on down here and saying hi. Hi, guys. It's good to see everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you. And still scrolling down. Josie Elling says, what about Gab? They've been staying above water against all odds. I thought about Gab and library and all this other stuff. I don't know, man. I also got to be careful about spreading myself real thin. That overwhelms me. I get overwhelmed real easy when I start spreading myself out too much and I'm on too many sites. I always have this guilt where I can't answer all the comments on all these sites and I can't get to all the emails and everything all the time. So we'll see. We'll see. I think Twitch might be kind of cool, from what I know about it. We'll see. It's new to me. It's new to me. Okay, I see a question here. Question, isn't there streaming software you can host on your website? Not too familiar with it. Kind of. I've looked into some of that stuff. There's certain widgets and whatever. That might be a good idea too. I haven't looked back on that lately, but maybe I'll look back. It seems like the ones I started trying over there on my website, they just weren't that good. Same with a forum. I tried to start a few forums over there and it didn't quite work out. So, but I'll take a look, man. I'll take a look. Still scrolling down. Hood Famous says, KJ, what do you think about the theory that the moon is actually a reflection of Earth, like Earth is bigger than we think? I don't believe in it. I don't believe in that myself. I'd like to know what's on the dark side of the moon, though, wouldn't you? Here's Tommy Sparks. KJ, is a watermark sting a real operation? Man, that's something I've been asking myself as well. A lot of people are talking about the watermark. Have you guys heard about this? Maybe you didn't. But there's a story going around out there. I think it started with Steve Pachinik. He was on InfoWars talking to Owen Schroyer. That's when I first heard this. Talking about how Trump had apparently placed watermarks on a bunch of the ballots in these states that are being troublesome right now because they saw what was coming. I don't know. I've only heard it on some of the online type sites. Of course, that's the other thing. Again, in the mainstream, even if it is true, are they going to cover it at this point? That's something I was thinking of earlier too, is where are the people, where are the people on the right getting out in the streets together, organizing, not being violent, but like going to their local polling centers in these states where all the problems are going on and saying something about it. And you never see it. And then a few days ago on the internet, I saw that Facebook actually shut down a group that was 300-something thousand strong called Stop the Steal or something like this. They just got rid of them. So that's part of the problem as well. Even there might be groups out there getting together and trying to do something, but will they get any coverage? And will anybody cover them except for us or people on the internet? So I don't know, man. I'm curious to see what happens with that too. I'm not really sure. If they did, the whole idea is that they put the watermarks on there, and now with all the fake votes and everything else, they'll be able to determine what's real and what's not. And then they'll, secure Trump's win. Trump obviously won. He really won. We know this. It's just being stolen right now. But will it ever be proven? Will he finally prove it? I mean, I leave it in God's hands. Again, I leave it in God's hands, and I try to look ahead to what possibilities would lie with both presidents. Every time I think of Trump, I see it as a reprieve. It's like a holding off a little bit. Biden, of course, would be, he's the perfect New World Order puppet. He's the perfect New World Order stooge. And he's so corrupt, and they've got him in so many different ways. He has to do what even if he didn't want to, he's got to do what they want him to do. The Illuminati, if you will, the shadow controllers. Biden, it's unbelievable though, isn't it? All right, still scrolling down here. Let's see what we got. See what we've got. Still scrolling, guys. Just checking out what you're saying, checking out the chat. Psalm 40 says, why can't KJ upload vids directly to his website? I actually have been, man. I've been doing that for a while, but I get a lot of complaints. People will start complaining that it always buffers. The ones I embed on my website, some of them say that it always buffers and they won't play on their phones or their tablets. So I've been trying to work around that. I've been uploading a few things lately to BitChute and then just connecting it over to my website. But also with my site having a 3.5 hour long movie on it already, and I've got to pay for storage on this site, it gets expensive, and I want to upload more directly to the website, but I'll have to pay for that. The more I upload there, the more, you got to pay to get a better, whatever more range or whatever. Still scrolling down. Trust no one says they want civil war so bad so they can take more of your rights away. Yep. Problem, reaction, solution. It's crazy how quiet the streets are, huh? There's hardly any of that rioting and looting going on. I'm not hearing anything about the masks as much. A lot of that seems to be dying off. Oh, don't worry. That agenda's still there. I'm sure they'll kick back into it, depending on who gets it. If it's Biden, it could be, as he said, mandatory masks across America, second lockdown, preparing for a dark winter. Ruh-roh, stuff like that where you just can't get fearful. Tim Rose says, do you have a website, KJ? Well, yes, I do. Thanks for asking. It's below this player. I put the link under under every show or video I do. It's whoiskjosborne with a Z.com, and you can watch the scariest movie ever there, or ever made 2020 for free. And even speaking of the scariest movie ever made, I keep having to update. I made a movie poster, with some of the laurels on there. I've gotten 2 more. I just saw those in the email, and I haven't even opened those up yet. So, and I've got movies. I've got it in festivals all the way through 2021, through the first few months of 2021. So we'll see how it goes. I'd like to get a bunch, to put on the movie poster. and then start working on maybe getting a wider distribution. I've already talked to one online company about it. I haven't heard anything back yet, but they claim they could potentially get the movie onto like Netflix and Hulu and all those sites. Who knows? So we'll see, but that would be awesome. I'd love it. And again, it's not for my name or popularity or anything. No, it's to get the word out there, to be able to still get truth out there to people in this world that's becoming so much more deceptive. So obviously so, right? See here, I'm scrolling on down. From Joe Adams, he says, do you think the vaccine will be the mark of the beast? Well, I think that the one that will be, we'll all know what it is when we see it. They're not going to sneak something in on you. It's like, oh, crap, man, I thought it was just the flu vaccine. Now I got the mark of the beast. Wah, wah, wah. Yeah, they're not going to sneak something in. It's not going to. It's going to be obvious. And we already see the luciferase and seen a lot of the symbol, the 666 around some of these things, and we follow the numbers and we follow the symbols with all this. And we know there's something that looks very much like it could be a mark of the beast coming from Gates and the group. So we'll see. Yeah, I think it could definitely be a part of it. There might be maybe one or two, quote, normal vaccines first, just to get the public used to it, and then maybe the third will be it, or I don't know how exactly it'll play out, but I'm watching. But yeah, I'm not one of these people that think they're going to sneak it into you somehow. You're going to have a very clear choice to make, and most of us understand, if you know what the Bible says about it, that if you take this, you're cut off from the Lord completely. And it says that people that take it will want to die and won't be able to. Eek. That does not sound cool. All right, still scrolling down. Thanks, David Robinson. Appreciate it. Yeah, I loved my time in the Coast Guard mostly, except for some of my bosses. But that's the way the military is. Someone takes a test before you, they get to tell you what to do, even though you're smarter than they are. Still scrolling down. All right, question. Jacqueline Milowski. Have you heard that Bibles have been changed supernaturally, even the ones in our homes? I've heard all that, Jacqueline, but I've never bought into it. That's why I don't promote Mandela effect and things like that a lot. I do believe the dimensions are changing. Things are shifting. Veil's been lifting. Strange things coming in. But then this Mandela thing came along, and it kind of took that over for a lot of people. It's like, yeah, that's what it is. CERN is doing things. Now it's causing the dimensions to change. And no, now they got the Bible. That started a few years ago. Now they got the Bible, man. And all these people making hundreds of thousands, millions of views. They're changing the Bible. You can't trust the word of God anymore. See, I'm not into that. I've never been into that. That would be allowed. That the word we have now, that suddenly it's changing. I'm just not into it. I think that's part of the psyop, if you will, that kind of came along with that whole movement. There've been a lot of these, a lot of these different truth rabbit holes that have popped up over the years, and some of them just really take off, and then they get really crazy. Some of them get really crazy. Some of this Mandela effect stuff is just, come on, people. No, stop it. Stop it. But it ties in with all of it. I've mentioned I'm not a believer in flat earth, but we've seen that's really taken off and became a thing, and all this, man. And then, of course, Q came along, and I see some of the good things that came out of Q, because it did help to wake up a lot more people to more truths that they maybe wouldn't have known of before. But then they have to let go of, where they found it eventually. It's like how my experience was with Alex Jones. Some of his footage is some of the stuff that first woke me up to everything, like 14 years ago. And so I followed him hardcore for a couple of years there as I was waking up into everything. And then after a few years, I had to let it go. So I was like, wait a second, I don't feel he really represents me, doesn't really represent where I'm going with this stuff or what I'm thinking. I'm with some of it, but then a lot of it I need to just let go. And you got to kill your heroes in that sense. It's best not to have idols anyway, right? But to take what we need from people and just keep on moving on, figure out things for ourselves as well, and create our own opinions on all these things that are happening. Okay, still scrolling down here. Thanks, Jason Hammond. I'm glad you like it. So I'm saying I'll leave a little video for you guys over there on Scariest Movie Ever TV, and then we'll figure it out from here, where to go. But let's see what else we got. Yeah, thanks, Jane. I am feeling better. Finally getting over this cold here. All right, still scrolling down. I know I'm behind, so thanks for your patience. I may ask you all in a second. I'm going to ask a few more questions. But let me finish this. Keep on going down and see what we can come up with. Carla Webster says, what do you make of MAGA, M-A-G-A, Trump's mantra, being a level in the Church of Satan? I'd seen that a few months back, and it wasn't a video. I think it was in a forum, and somebody was talking about it. And it wasn't on YouTube or anything. It was a forum I was in on a website, and somebody mentioned that, and I went and looked, and I saw it. Yeah, it is. MAGA is it's the fifth level. I think it's the fifth level in the Church of Satan. I don't know, man. There's a lot of that kind of stuff you can find with Trump, and with most of them, of course. I don't know. I don't know what I think about. I don't know if that means something. I don't know if it's a part of it. Is that why Trump chose MAGA, to spit in all the Christians' faces, fools, MAGA, hashtag MAGA. Meanwhile, you're promoting the Church of Satan and not even realizing it. And I just try to think of everything, what I know of their character, what I think I know of the person, does it match up to their other actions? And I just don't know. I don't know if Trump knew that MAGA was the fifth level of the Church of Satan and decided to make it as one of his campaign slogans to, spit in the face of the Christians, of the dumb Christians. I don't know, but that's the way I would see it. If that's why he did it, it'd be like, let's just make a mockery of them all. Stupid idiots. I don't know. I think it's interesting. So is it one of those, is it a coincidence, or does it mean something? I'm not sure. All I know is the beast runs this entire joint, no matter what. The beast runs this whole joint, and he's showing himself more and more. The beast system is manifesting. It's becoming much more obvious, and we're still waiting on that event, whatever that event may be, or a series of events to really kick things off so the phoenix can rise from the ashes and the Antichrist can make his appearance. And there's also a war, it seems, we're waiting on, right? So will Biden be leading us in war, or will it be Trump? We'll see. I don't know. All right, still scrolling on down. What do you guys think about that MAGA thing? The MAGA Trump being the fifth level of Church of Satan. Was it that way before he became president, or did they change it after? I don't know. That's one thing I didn't see. How long has MAGA been that fifth level of the Church of Satan? Has it always been a thing? Or if you go back and look, did they change it like in 2017 or something? I don't know. Still scrolling down. Looks like I've got one here. Burpee Queen MN. KJ, I just broke a world record during the pandemic. People need to turn off the TV and start living their dreams. We may not have much time left where we have the opportunity. Well, tell us more, Burpee. That sounds good. I like that attitude too. Hey, thanks, Gregory Curtis. Appreciate you. Still scrolling on down. Greenbird says, hey, KJ, do you think there are more cryptids coming out? I do. That's been something I've noticed over the years, and I've said it since 2015. The veil's lifting, stranger things are coming in. Always be expecting more, and we've seen it. I mean, just the cryptids I've been showing y'all for the last several years that I find all over the place, online, wherever, that's increased. And we've seen some really crazy ones too, man. There's really interesting ones that have been coming out the last few years. And then we got this thing that people are equating to the rake. It's not really the rake, which is a creepypasta creation, but there is some kind of a white, fully white-skinned creature that's bald Has a demonic looking face. They caught it on a deer cam. That was worldwide news like 6-7 years ago. And ever since then, people have recorded this thing out there in the wilderness. They just had that one from Canada last year. It was a couple filming a moose on the side of the road, and then suddenly just behind it, they see one of those creatures crawling in the brush and just watching the moose. So yeah, that's a fairly new one for us. Yeah, I'm open to it. I've been waiting to see some more of those crazy screams from the skies during storms that guy recorded in Texas. Let's see if there's anything more there. Who knows? I'm always on the lookout. But think about the flying humanoids. How many flying humanoids have we seen on this channel? I mean, really. And it's not just a dumb thing, it's just flying humanoids. It sounds funny, and I like it. I like that it's so kind of strange. But it's a real thing that's happening. We've seen the footage. I just showed some the other night. Not that hardly anybody saw it, but yeah, there's a lot more flying humanoids out there. Just these, they look like biological entities. 4 extremities and a head floating around in the sky, different positions. Some are bigger than others. Some are different colors, but it's out there. It's interesting. I'm interested in it. So yeah, I'm always looking out for more of the cryptids and the creepies. I love my cryptids and my creepy crawlies. That's for sure. It's all interesting. Thanks again, guys. If I missed your question, I'll get to you. I'm just kind of take my time. It's a night where we can relax. It's Friday night. It's early. Get your favorite drink, your favorite smoke, whatever, your favorite pet, favorite partner, and just hang out. Let's hang out. Let's relax a little bit. Just have a conversation, talk about some different subjects, and just enjoy it. Let's enjoy each other's company. I always like being here with you guys anyway. All right, so now I've got more because I've just saw some more questions here. So let me just keep on scrolling down. Thanks, North Star 68. I appreciate it, my friend. Britton Makata, good point. Ask questions in caps. It'd be easier. Yeah, thank you. It's a good idea. Let's see. Still scrolling. It's something funny's been, not funny, but weird's been happening with Chubs, and maybe people out there that have a cat can help me out with this. I'll just throw it out there, and I'll keep going through the chat here. I've had Chubs for like 4.5 years now, and he's never sneezed. It was never a thing. In the last 3 days or so, he just started sneezing a lot. And I've been sick too, of course. I was sneezing, so we're both sitting around here sneezing with each other. But he doesn't do it constantly, but he has been doing it the last 3 days. And I feel like it's probably something outside. The leaves are falling, and there's a blanket out there, and when he gets near it, he starts sneezing. I just figured that's what it was, so I don't know. If you guys know anything about cats and sneezing and how to stop it, please let me know. Just throwing it out there. Asking for a friend. Let's see here. Scrolling on down. TJ Jones says you shouldn't put your faith in a particular book. Read various translations. Trust in the Holy Spirit to guide you. Yeah. And I've got one. Get a concordance. A Greek and Hebrew concordance helps too. Dennis Ventura says, KJ, do you think Trump is in on the 2020 election stuff, or is he being cheated? Like I said, I look at his actions. We judge a tree by its fruit. So I look at his fruit, because it's hard to see a man's heart. But I look at you can judge by their actions mostly. So I look at his fruit and his actions. When I look at all that and a lot of the good things he's done and all this, I feel like he's being cheated. But I've got friends, some of them here on YouTube, and that are totally on the opposite side of that and totally think he's definitely in on it. He's a part of the whole thing. It also could be a whole white hat, black hat thing. You've heard about that. And it's also like the tiles of the Freemasons, black and white. They control both sides, the evil side and the so-called good side. So we take that into consideration as well anytime we're dealing with Washington, D.C., politics in general. So there's always that element of everything being a bit of a show, which is fine. What I do for things like that is just pray for discernment on things and on people. Pray for clarity. My heart feels good with that when I think of that Trump has tried. He did try to do a good job. he's not like one of them. He's not, hanging out with Nancy, or, sacrificing a goat every Sunday with Mitch McConnell, or, whatever it is. No, I don't think it's quite there, but I don't know for sure. There's a lot of things around Trump that are interesting that signal that he could be the last president, good or bad, right? But he would be the last president. Even, excuse me, I'm still getting a little cold here. Let me take a drink. Okay, that's better. But even the commercial he was in for Serta Sleeper many years ago with the sheep, and one of the sheep had a 9 and the other sheep had an 11, and they were both standing on twin pillars with Trump in the middle. There's things like this. But what does that mean? Does that mean, he's part of it, he is one of them, or is that more in the spiritual, showing that he will be involved with perhaps the next 911 or that event or events many people have been seeing through predictive programming, even dreams, even visions. So we shall see. That's my serious feeling, man. Like I said, and I hope my buddies aren't mad at me, because like I said, there's people here on YouTube that I know that we have very different views on this, but I'm always, you can agree to disagree on things, but that's kind of my feeling about the whole thing. But, ultimately, we already know what's coming no matter what, whether he's the good guy or he's really the bad guy, or whether it's this or that. We already know what's coming because it's right at our doorstep. The whole fake lockdown stuff, the mask madness, it's all about compliance and becoming a slave in a sense. And now we see this very obviously. The most popular president in America has had, like, in forever, just won this election. But they're not, it doesn't look that way. They're not going to let him have it. They're obviously stealing it from him. And they're giving it to probably one of the most despised and disliked people running for president in many years. And it's funny, the news came out, remember, a couple of days ago, Joe Biden just received the most votes in American history. In all of our voting ever in American history, Joe Biden just received the most votes. Here's a guy that couldn't get 6 people to show up at a live event. Here's a guy that can barely say a clean sentence that you can truly understand. Here's a man that the corruption just goes on forever and ever, and the obvious corruption. So much has come out about him and his family. And he's a creep. Think of all the times he puts his hands on children and kisses little boys that aren't even in his family on the lips. Not that would make it right, but fondling children. There's that couple videos. There's that one video of him grabbing a little girl's hand and rubbing it on his balls. I mean, I know it's gross. I'm just saying, but here's your new president, guys. Here's your new president. To work this out of my system, I was tinkering around with a new music video earlier today called God Bless Our New President, Bo Jiden. I don't know if I'm going to finish it or not yet. I was very cynical when I started it. We'll see. If I do, I'll put it up on my website and I'll let you know. But yeah. Moving on. See what else we got. Jimba Jungus, cool name, says, is that your real name? I seen something about MAGA being changed to that by the Satanic Church from Magus, M-A-G-U-S. Okay. Thank you for telling me that. Yeah, see, that's why I was curious. I didn't know for sure. You don't just want to jump on this stuff and be able to see, there it is. He's one of them, We don't know for sure. We got to investigate these things. So it's good to know that. I'm not sure about the whole thing, but we'll see. So scrolling on down. Alan Dempsey says, KJ, what do you think about synchronicities? Like 444, 333, 222. I started seeing them once I quit watching porn and started retaining. Hey, that makes total sense to me. And you're asking somebody who knows, man. I have a video on my website from 2012 called I See 111 Everywhere. What does it mean? It's still on there. So I started seeing that synchronicity around 2012. And that's right when I started actually uploading and making my own videos. The first couple of years on YouTube, I was mostly sharing other truth type videos. That's even before there was a so-called truth movement or something. But I was sharing a lot of, Illuminati exposed and Symbolism and all the stuff that I was into back then. And then around 2012, maybe it was a little bit before 2012, but around that time I'd started uploading my own videos and started kind of finding my way on YouTube and giving my voice to things. And around that time is when I started getting the 111s. As the years have gone on, and I still get them all the time. A few years ago, I finally just gave in and said, Lord, every time I see it, I'm just going to acknowledge you and say, hey, thank you. It's like God just popping in and saying, hey, I'm here. That's the way I see it. And it's a beautiful thing. I really appreciate it. And that's how I've read it for years, man. He's been with me on this journey the entire time. No matter how crazy it gets, how hard it gets, how many times you want to give up, everything, all the stuff that comes with doing whatever you want to define it is that I do. He's always been there, man. And I've seen it through the numbers. It's been awesome. I could tell you some crazy stories about times that number shows up, man. It's been some really wild. I mean, just some days too, it'd just be like 7-8 times in a day. That's not often, but every now and then. I told this one before, but many years ago, I went to a friend of mine's wedding party. It was in Oklahoma. I took a friend with me. We parked near the spot where the party was, went to the party, wound up leaving the party, hanging out with other people all night, crashed out at a friend's house. I went back the next day to get my car, and it was gone. Someone had stolen it. And it turned up maybe a week later, full tank of gas, and they didn't take a single thing out of it. And I had all of my earthly belongings in the car at the time. I was moving. It was in between a move. I don't even remember where I was going from where to. Maybe it was from Oklahoma to Texas to Austin. I'm not sure. But anyway, I had all my stuff in the car. Computers, everything. The computers I do videos on, everything. And they didn't take a single thing, filled up the tank, and they parked it on Main Street in the small town where that get-together was. But the point is, when we went back the next day to get my vehicle, it was gone, and we looked at the parking space, and it was 111. And I had just been telling my friend about this, how often I'm seeing it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, look. And then they're like, wow. And then went to their house, and I was using their phone to call the police and phone this thing in. And when I set the phone down, like on the table next to me, it was on top of a bill my friend had. And the bill was for like 111. It was like either $100.11 or $1.11 or something. And I called them over and said, check this out. They're like, it was just nonstop. And I've had a lot of periods where I'll get it a lot like that. It just keeps coming, so, but that's how I've always seen it, that's my interpretation, but I would take it up with the Lord, pray about it. Why am I seeing this? What does it mean? Look into it and, ask and you'll be given, knock and the door will be opened, so I just do that. Still scrolling down. Stephen Hill says, what do you think of social media not honoring the Constitution, censorship of freedom of speech? It's like I was saying earlier, Stephen, honestly, I see it as just another example of that, the beast system fully manifesting. By that, I mean evil really encroaching, evil really coming in, and everything that goes with evil, lies, deception, cruelty, censorship, violence, all that stuff increasing. And that's just another example of that, of how it's just out of control and disgusting. And so many people maybe, again, put too much stock into Trump, hoping he could stop it. But, nothing was done. It's not that they didn't. Well, they had meetings. They'd call all the big tech guys up there to the White House, but just nothing really seemed to come out of it. And they're still doing it. Even Twitter. I mean, the coup is on, during the last 3 or 4 days, even on election night, Twitter was deleting some of Trump's tweets. They blocked his account, blocked some tweets, put fact checks on almost everything he said. And that's what they've been doing lately. The whole social media is full on, of course, in on this. And they're, like I mentioned, Facebook cut out that group of over 300,000 people called Stop the Steal. I think it was hashtag Stop the Steal, and cut them totally off the site. So yeah, I mean, but that's the Antichrist spirit, isn't it? It has come to do what? Steal, right? Kill and destroy. And we're seeing it. We're seeing it. And I'm not trying to be, I'm not negative about the idea that, what if, because you got to look at both possibilities. What if Trump does win? I mean, what if he's given the win? It's finally proven, let's say. What if it's proven that he actually won? First off, the media is never fully going to admit that, so they're already against him. So they're going to fuel the flames, right, for more madness. And the madness, of course, they're ready to go all over the place. They're ready. They're just waiting. So it's still going to be crazy and a bit of a battle, but maybe if that's God's plan, who knows? I mean, some people believe it is. There's a guy named Mark Taylor. They call him Prophet Mark Taylor, but he wrote a book called The Trump Prophecy. And I was curious to see what he was saying about this. And I found a clip a couple days ago. He did an interview recently, just a few days ago. And he's still real positive about it. He's saying, nope, because Trump's going to win his reelection. And these people are all going to go to jail, that we're going to see real justice and da-da-da. And then that's all part of God's plan before, Trump is the last president, he believes. And he said that it'll be God. He thinks it's God's plan for Trump to win the election. And actually we'll see justice. Like then he's going to start ripping things apart, maybe getting back with these social media people and, whatever it is, So there's a lot of people that believe that as well. I'm not saying I do. I'm not saying I don't. I think it's a cool possibility. I mean, even Mark Taylor says after that, the Antichrist, we know all that stuff's coming soon too. But how about one last gasp of the good guys winning before all that hits? I mean, I'm cool with that. Okay. That's not me being a dumb and falling for the left-right paradigm. I'm just wondering what God will do with the chess pieces he has. So maybe God does decide to do that. And I'm cool with that. I think that's a great idea. I'd love to see it. First off, you want to see the left get upset again. It's nothing like liberal tears. And again, that's not just the right-left thing either. The right's got their problems because the other thing this is exposing is how weak the freaking Republicans are. And it's always been my issue with them. They don't show up. They're hiding out. Or a lot of them are, I believe a lot of them are religious, kind of Christian, religious type with this idea that Jesus is just this passive, so anytime they see some bad things are fighting or them people being mean, they're like, no, we're going to be nice. We're going to turn our other cheek. This is what Jesus would want from us. So we're not going to cause a ruckus. That's the way I see Republicans sometimes. It's being weak, wimps, and just giving in and not fighting. And even today, I saw earlier, Trump and his son tweeted out, where are the Republicans? It's time to stand now. This is the time to fight. I believe that as well. Now, we also know that most of these Republicans and Democrats are all buddies in the lodge or at the Order of the Eastern Star. That's why so much that gets done always seems to favor one side, doesn't it? Throughout the years, Trump being a bit of an exception, but mostly everything that gets done always favors the left or the New World Order, if you will. And that's why I think so many of these people are compromised. So many of them are high-level Masons and high-level Order of the Eastern Star. Let's see what else we got here. Scrolling down. Scrolling on down. Mike Sweeney. I did. He said, KG, have you heard of the Janus, the two-faced time traveler? Is Trump Into the Stars has good videos on it. Yes. Casey does great stuff on Trump. So I'm saying, Casey and I don't know. We haven't talked about it lately. But I know we have some different viewpoints on that and on other things too. But it's not, I'm never mad at him or feel, oh man, I can't trust you. No, Casey and I have been friends forever and we have a lot of respect for each other. And the same thing, we don't sit here and go point by point on, I believe that you did is true. And I think this is BS. And I think it's, you keep it open, but he's fantastic. Casey is. And I know he's done some cool videos on that. Still scrolling down. Thanks, Wheeler's Wild Ones. I appreciate it. I am feeling better. Still a little sick, but that's why I'm doing 2 shows. I did 2 shows so far, one last night, one today. And I've got more coming. Probably be doing, most likely, a KJ's What Happened Monday, maybe from Twitch over onto YouTube. We'll see. Or maybe I'll just do one on YouTube. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'm in the middle of trying to figure that out. Still scrolling down. Jamiel Spencer. Yo, KJ, the current season of the cartoon show Archer mentions the COVID shot. Cheryl, the MK Ultra brainwashed girl, mentions the shot by Freaking and saying that she needs to take to red or blue shot. Ah, good. I never watch Archer, but you're definitely not the first person that told me they've seen some kind of interesting things in Archer in the cartoon. So thanks for sharing. See what else we got here, folks. Once again, thanks for being here. I hope you guys are cool with this kind of a format. You know, it's relaxed. We're taking it easy. I'm not trying to rush through anything. I really like to just go through and read, see what you got to say. If you got any questions, we'll hit those. Let's see. The Zale map, Danny Zale. KJ, whatever happened with you and JK doing a project together? Oh, Jonathan Kleck. You know, I don't know. It's something about, I'll tell you this, is he's so busy and good with what he's doing, you know, and then I feel the same. You know, I feel I'm so busy and I do good with what I do. It's really hard to come together. And I think if God kind of led us to do something like that, we would. But I don't know. I'm sure he'd feel the same way. He's got so much on his plate. He's busy. I'm the same way. But I would love to. Who knows if we ever did something together? Maybe someday. I think I know what you're talking about now. In fact, I might be going down there to see him soon again. I'm planning to go back down to Texas this winter, visit a few friends down there. And he'd be one I would try to hit up and see if I could come by. And who knows, I think in the past I talked about maybe we would do a live show together or something, just talk. Like, that could be cool. I'll see what he thinks about that. If I go down there in the next few months, I'll text first. We'll talk about this stuff and see if he likes the idea of us getting on there and just chatting one afternoon or something with people, or doing something like this, just answering questions from a chat together. Who knows? That something like that. I don't see us doing videos together or anything, just because we're very different. And like I said, he's got enough on his plate as it is. Moving on down. Scrolling on down. I'll take another drink here real quick. I hope you guys are all doing good tonight. You got any big plans for your weekend? Any big plans for your Friday evening later? What's it like going out to bars lately? I hope everyone's not wearing a mask. I'm pretty sure they're not. That would be the worst bar experience ever. Certainly be up there. Here's Mike Swaney. Oh, wait. Sorry, I've heard there's Ian LaRue. Oh, that wasn't a question. Okay, Mike, did you ever hear about Trump being behind 5G and the coin shortages to get copper for our 5G prison? Into the Stars has lots of video. Yeah, I heard it through Casey, through Into the Stars. Yes, it's some interesting stuff. Definitely. 5G, I keep seeing those commercials over here too. I just saw one earlier. It's the one where they make it look like a pink kind of beam taking over all the neighborhoods and cities. Everything going pink. And it's all like, now 5G's in your neighborhood. And it's just all these young, androgynous looking people, mostly dancing and flitting about. It seems so nice. You see the commercials and it's like, everyone says 5G is going to be bad, but this looks nice. It looks so fun. It's like a roller coaster. Wee, 5G. Hey, now it's in my neighborhood too. This is going to be great. Oh, the commercials. They make it seem so fun. Everyone's going to love 5G. 5G for you. 5G for you. 5G for you. Truth to Win says, KJ, do you know the series The Chosen on YouTube? I don't. I've never heard of that, but I'll look it up now. Thanks. Still scrolling down. Can you guys hear that? Listen. Okay, it stopped. I get raccoons out here. Now Chubbs is at the window. Here, hold on. Let's see if you can hear it. I got the mic out the window now. Hear him? Hey, you kids get off my lawn. All right, they're not saying anything now. But I heard them chirping a little bit. Did you hear that? They get in little scuffles out there. Sometimes they crawl on my roof. That'll scare you, hearing that sometimes, middle of the night. All right, still scrolling down here. This is from Knowledge 2020 Returns. It says, yes, it was always MAGA. MAGA is multiple of Magi. It's a male witch. You can see it goes back to the Middle East. Thanks for that. Let's see what else we got here, guys. Still scrolling on down. Pethura 2049 says, magic is putting out an intent and using your life force to make it manifest. Yeah. And you can also put intent with sigil magic and symbols. It's the creepy thing, isn't it? How often we find these common symbols in our movies and TV shows and have to wonder, what spell are you trying to place on me? All right, I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to go ahead and catch up with the chat here. So sorry if I missed any questions or anything. This is Hood Famous. KJ, you think it's true that reptilians can't say the word Kininigan? I never heard that, but I'm actually subbed to Kininigan. And Kininigan, actually, I think he's one of the guys that got caught up in this last purge. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he may have got hit. But he does a lot of that reptilian video stuff and all that. And I didn't know that was why his name was Kininigan. That must be why. I'm just now piecing that together. But I'm guessing that's why he calls his channel Kininigan. Because apparently, I've never heard this, that reptilians can't say the word Kininigan. I don't know. We should somehow get that word trending. I don't know. It'd be cool to somehow get it to trend and then make people say it. That I'd be interested in seeing. Like Pelosi. Hey, Pelosi, say Kininigan, you know? There's a whole list of them. You could do it with anybody. I'll have to remember that. That could be a cool tattoo. Kininigan. Just walk around, and anybody you see that you don't think is human, you walk up and say, hey, what do you think about my tattoo? And they're like, huh? And maybe they'll try to say it. And then you say, do you even know what it says? And then all of a sudden their eyes turn into slits, and they go, and then you're like, ah! All right, still scrolling down. Being a little goofy, sorry. Forgive me. Let me get my serious face on. Still scrolling down, guys. Yeah, any other questions you have, please put them in caps. So I may have missed quite a few questions, but the chat goes fast. So if you got any new questions, please throw them on out there. Antione Hitchcock, thoughts on Kushner making peace deals in the Middle East? Yeah, I think it's interesting. Of course, we know the whole 666 building with Kushner, and there's also so many kind of little red herrings that pop up around all these things too. It's not saying he's innocent of anything. Certainly could be symbolic of him being part of a satanic bloodline or satanic family. And of course, we keep our eyes on the Middle East because the whole third temple, but then some people argue the temple is us. It's a whole different thing, but then we actually see them working on a physical temple. That's a whole other deal. And we'll see. We'll see. Are we literally going to see the Antichrist rising up in a temple somewhere in Israel, or is that a temple inside humanity or inside of us? What do you think? Still scrolling down. Good point. Andrew Perry says, are we allowed to say raccoon? Exactly. I should probably be careful with that one. Let's see. Still scrolling down, guys. Oh, I wonder what's been going on with, have you guys heard anything about the Dana, is it Coverstone? He's the guy that had some of the dreams that many people were talking about, the prophetic dreams that are supposed to be, a lot of them taking place right now. Some took place in October. He did call some things, though. Some of the things in his dreams wound up happening after. But I haven't really tried to compare lately. Have you guys? I don't know. Just off the top of my head, you know what I'm talking about. You can look that guy up. He's had a few more dreams lately, so I don't know. All right. Still scrolling down. My stream has a fact check on it, someone says. No way, that's awesome. Not really, but I'll have to check that out. I wonder what the fact check's for. Still scrolling down. Still reading, guys. Sorry. Still reading. Okay, here's some. KG, have you heard of the theory of NPCs? Some people are background characters, matrix agents. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've seen all those memes on NPCs as well. Yeah, it's interesting. They might as well be, but I don't really see it so much like that. I see people are either one side or the other. Yeah, they're either the hive mind of the Antichrist system, the Antichrist beast hive mind, or they're a hive mind through the Holy Spirit, or they're what they call a natural man or woman, somebody who's still in the middle. But time's running out for those sitting in the middle. It's getting a lot more obvious. All of it is. So yeah, so I see, instead of NPCs, I see these people as a satanic hive mind. Feet rushing to wickedness, darkness on their minds every second of the day. Jason Hammond, do you have a soundtrack to your movie, KJ? No, I don't. Man. I'll have to maybe consider that. Thanks for asking. Still scrolling here. Nikki V says, KJ, I sent you an email about the VP debate. Okay, I'll have to check that. Nicholas Ramos, KJ, why did you leave Costa Rica? Moved to Panama last month. God bless. I had an accident out there in Costa Rica on a motorbike. Broke my clavicle, right side, scapula, and a couple of ribs. It was really rough. And I told this a long time ago, but it's been a while since I talked about it. So I had to stay out there. It was around the holiday season anyway, around Christmas. But I was out there for a while, like in the hospital, about a week and a half. They finally fixed me. And the next night, while I was all doped up on drugs, they sent a guy in with a suit and a bunch of paperwork at like 10 o'clock at night, explaining that I owed them $30,000, like exactly $30,000. It's like, okay, everything's $30,000. Okay, fine. So I was like, well, I could start making payments. And they're like, no, we won't accept payments. You're going to have to pay like the whole thing within the next few months. And I was like, well, I can't do that. Like it's not going to happen. So they literally kicked me out of the hospital that night. And I was refused treatment until I started, figured something out, worked out something with payments. And I was all messed up in my head anyway, man. Like I said, I was on all kind of drugs that night. But so I had to get my stuff together and stumble out of the hospital. I went outside. A friend came and picked me up. Called my dad, told him what was going on, and he had the right idea. Is like, get out of there immediately, because I'm a veteran, and coming back to America, they could take all the staples and sutures out, So, all right. So that's what I did. I made a really quick decision and just came back to America, and it all worked out. I lived with my parents for probably like 4 or 5 months. And then I was able to get out on my own, get my own place. And still wasn't fully healed till like over a year. Like it took a long time. And I was on YouTube making videos still, but it was crazy. That was a really crazy time. So that's what brought me back. And then the last several years being back in, my home state, every year I was thinking I just wanted to get out of here and get an RV or something, or just whatever, just get out of here. But it's kind of turned out the way it was supposed to. My parents are still alive and they're out here about half an hour away, and it's good. It's the time of their life. It's good for me to be around, I think. And, so it all kind of worked out, but I would love to definitely go back. I don't think I'll ever go back to Costa Rica just because I don't know what they'll do to me at the border. if anything, but maybe they'll grab me and who knows, put you in jail. I don't know, until you pay your money. I don't know how it works with that stuff out there, but I've thought a lot about Peru, Brazil. I've just always had that gypsy spirit. I just like to travel. I even take little trips here in America. I'm planning a couple more this winter. So anyway, enough about me. Good luck in Panama, man. I loved Panama. It's one of the, every 3 months I had to leave Costa Rica for 3 days and then come back. And that was part of the immigration. So I would go to Panama a lot, especially Panama City. And I wound up doing a video out there. It's still on the YouTube channel called, I think I called it, I Stayed in an Illuminati Hotel or something. Maybe that's what I called it, but it was straight up like a satanic hotel. It had, devil masks everywhere, had the Nephilim giant heads on the TV when I went in there, and I noticed all this stuff, and it was all over the place, even in the rooms. On the TV, they had video playing of a lamb playing with a goat. I mean, it's just so, like, I was like, what did I just walk into? And I made a video, I think, that night, but it's one of those places I'd set up online, wasn't really paying attention to it. When I got there, I was like, whoa, it's just, and even in the rooms, I got in trouble with YouTube on this one. Here's a fun old school YouTube story. I posted this video, and I even filmed in the bedrooms like that you rent. And it was a pretty nice place. In the bedrooms, on the walls, they had huge pictures of little 13 and 14-year-old girls' chests, but they were like little village girls, right, out in the middle of some village in the middle of nowhere. But the close-up of the camera was right on their chest, bare chest, children, just looked like little boys basically, but still right on their chest. And that was like, in a lot of the rooms, they had stuff like that. It was very, okay, so you kind of see where I'm going. So I made the video, put it on YouTube. Back then, they haven't done it in a long time, but there's a YouTube channel that used to mirror my videos constantly. Like right after I put them up, they'd go do it and take my video and then put it on their channel. Their channel is called Stranger Than Fiction. And a lot of the times he would take my videos and get way more views than I ever got. On my channel, I'm like, dude, I mean, after I hated it, but after a while, it started irritating me kind of. But he wound up taking that Panama video, posting it, wound up getting over 1 million views while mine got blocked, from being played because of adult content or whatever it was. So it's just, that's an old school little YouTube story. I've got no anger or hatred towards Stranger Than Fiction. I don't even know if they're still around out there. Who knows? They may have got hit by all these purges, but otherwise, I mean, he put up a lot of good stuff, did a lot of mirroring other people's things as well, but, whatever. It's all good. Still scrolling down. Tom Fittich says, do you ever talk in the Discord or only live on here? Sometimes I do, man, but most of the times when I go there, like a lot of times there's nobody there, but I still know that people are using it because people tell me they are, and they use it from time to time, or groups will meet up there and hang out and talk, and that's cool. I don't even know, what a normal Discord's supposed to be. Is it supposed to be busy all the time or no, or how's that work? But I think it's good just to keep it up there and have it. There's good people that go over there and check it out and talk. And yeah, sometimes I will. It's good to have it because maybe here in the future I'll start doing something more over there just for fun. Like I just realized I can live stream straight to my Facebook channel. So I'm going to start doing, don't tell all my Facebook friends, but pretty soon, probably next week, I'm just going to do some surprise Facebook hangouts because I never get to read all their messages. I thought it'd be cool to do a live Facebook hangout from time to time on there and just do something like this. Just say, hey, whatever you want to talk about, let's talk about, So let's see here, scrolling down. Yeah, or, let me see. Davy Jones Locker. Do you think we're all being deceived by the politicians? By a lot of them, yeah. See, I still believe God's got good people everywhere, even in Hollywood and in parts of Washington and parts of everything. It's not all just completely evil and corrupt. If everybody was that satanic hive mind in every position of power everywhere, we wouldn't even be around right now. It already would have been a massacre. They already would have moved on to all the plans they had, which is what? There's 3 things, right? To steal, kill, and destroy. So there's good people in lots of places holding this kind of stuff off, Let me see. Mark S. says, question, have you done a breakdown of the show Evil on Netflix, CBS? Yeah, but see, I don't title my videos, typically exactly what I'm doing. So I don't even know exactly which video that was, but I know I covered Evil several months ago when it was on CBS. There's somebody's writing over there in the Discord now. But yeah, I thought it was a great show. I'm hoping it comes back for a third season. But that's one that reveals a lot of truth. I even showed, where they literally showed the dreams that the guy was having about separating the wheat from the chaff. Also, the unicorns play a big part. So, yeah. Yeah, I covered that in the past. Be worthy to cover it again. Maybe when the third season comes around, I'll do another video on that one. It's interesting. All right, still scrolling down. Mr. Mensa says, thoughts on Archbishop Vigano saying Vatican's Church of Man run by New World Order? Yeah, I'd kind of mentioned something about that. I showed some of him talking about some of these things. Short clip, maybe 5 minutes worth yesterday. And there's like an hour-long thing you can watch. And he puts it all out there. I mean, I'm kind of new to finding out about him. Excuse me. How I feel, I see both possibilities. One, he's one of the good guys we're talking about. I was just saying there's good people in different places, right? So maybe this is an example of one of those good guys. And then I'd have to know more about him and kind of look at his fruits, if you will. I understand he's ex-Vatican and he's called a lot of things out. So see, there are whistleblowers. There are the good guys. Some people say, no, he's controlled and bad. But I would have to ask myself, what is he doing that's bad if he's really being controlled still by telling us these things and putting this stuff really out there more for the masses? We always assume everyone knows this, but they don't. Man's a big deal within the Catholic realm. Him saying things like this could have a good impact. I mean, it's a lot of truth that maybe a lot of these people in that Catholic realm weren't really aware of, right? So who knows? But I try to look at the different levels of it, So I'm glad he's putting truth out, but then there's also the whole revelation of the method, which works a little differently though still. But that's, we're in a contest against the wicked one and his minions to expose all of this stuff. We've been doing it for years. The symbols, all the subliminals, the mind control, even into different elements like the things they do with kids and all this other stuff. But at the same time, we're battling against the wicked one, where they're trying to bring this stuff out too, but just in a different framework, in a way that the people will enjoy it or comply with it or go along, whatever. That's why so many times these movies, TV shows you see with all the so-called Illuminati symbols or these satanic symbols or spells, they always have really degenerate, dirty things going on, or they're really over-the-top violent and gross, people getting sawed into pieces and crap, and you know what I mean? But it all goes along with the spell, right? And you have to invite it in or allow it in. So when you pay to go into the temple, the movie theater, the modern day church for some, used to be, for your brainwashing, well, there it is. Scrolling down a little more here. Angry Meat Sack 1488. Have you seen that Gretel and Hansel movie? Lots of symbolism. I did, but I didn't finish it. I just started watching it a while back. Maybe watched 20 minutes or so, and I just didn't finish it, man. So maybe I'll have to look. But yeah, I know definitely the pyramid. I know that's on the movie poster. I remember the pyramid with the sun symbol, the light inside, and it's a witch, But I'll have to go watch it and see. Oh, I think I did see the all-seeing eye. The little boys looking through the peephole, and of course, yeah, for sure. You're going to find it all around that, especially around a movie about a witch. The man that made that, I think it's Oz Perkins, and he also made a movie, I'm pretty sure it was him, called The Black Coat's Daughter. And I believe that may have been the first movie he made, but he's Anthony Perkins' son, the famous actor from Psycho, and a bunch of other stuff too. But Oz Perkins. But it made me wonder about him, just as my own thoughts, even back when I started following him a little bit, because I'm a film student myself that went out to Hollywood, and my dream originally was to be a horror sci-fi writer director, right? So I still follow some of this. But I also wonder how many of these people sign a deal, or how many might be satanic families, because his first movie is all about the Blackcoat's daughter. It's all about a demonic entity, basically taking over somebody and then just wreaking havoc. I mean, it's a little more layered than that, but that's the basic. And it's really hardcore, pretty scary too. It's a pretty crazy, scary movie, I thought. But as his first, is he just a lover of horror, or is it, now that we see Gretel and Hansel comes out with all this obvious symbolism of what we understand to be the part of the beast system, is that what it is? Is it a generational satanic type family thing? Was it something other? He met up in whatever lodge, whatever it is. And now his movies will be honoring Satan, Like his very first one, I believe, Evil Wins. And I'm not sure how Hansel and Gretel turned out, but anyway, I'm rambling. Joe Adams, KJ, this is an important question. Do you comb your hair to the left or the right? I pull it all back, and I tie it back on the back of my head. Not a man bun, it's not on the top, but I pull it all the way back, and then I tie it back there on the back. Get it out of the face, All right, still scrolling down. Okay, I just refreshed. So once again, anybody has any other questions? I see some coming. Just put them in caps or highlight them. Mo Burton says, hey, KJ, I plan on starting my own channel. Any advice on how I can structure my channel? All depends on what you want to talk about, man. If you want to talk about stuff like what we talk about, honestly, you just have to look at the not comments. What is it? The keywords or whatever. That's a real dangerous area. The tags or tag words or whatever. Yeah, it's real dangerous area, that is. I rarely use it, or I'll just use very basic tags, very basic. But we're far beyond the days where you can go in there and say anything controversial, or Illuminati or false flag, or any of that kind of stuff, whatever it is. Sandy HOOK, there's just some things. So I don't know. It's a whole new YouTube. You're entering in a whole new YouTube. I've been here a decade, over a decade now. So it was very different when I started, and as I've come up and what I had to get used to. I don't know. Honestly, I don't even know if it's worth starting a YouTube. It just depends on what you're going to do. If it's going to be something family friendly and fun or whatever, it doesn't always have to be truth type stuff or whatever. If you've got something else going on, or you're an artist, or you're creative, you're a singer, songwriter, play piano, whatever it is, that's all good and fine. Like, I think YouTube's fantastic for stuff like that, and you'll be promoted, and you'll be able to grow an audience, I'm sure, and it'll be a beautiful thing. It's just, I don't know. It's almost, is that bad of me to say? But it's almost too dangerous now to really get on here and try to be a hard charging truth seeker and truth teller, because they really hit you, from every angle. It might even be better to start some other places, maybe start growing in new places as they grow, like Brighteon or band.com, and a lot of people like BitChute. There's minds.com, which is an interesting one. Yeah, there's all kinds. I'm on Minds and BitChute myself, but maybe look into something like that. If you want to get into more truth type stuff or news or whatever. Hope that helps. I'm going to take a drink here real quick. There's a lot of questions now. I'm seeing some. Okay, cool. All right, let's see. Livy Lou 87 says, have you ever had sleep paralysis? If you don't want to answer, it's okay. I have when I was real little. I talked about this all throughout the years. I even did a video on this subject. Gosh, that was like 5 or 6 years ago now. It's called When Demons, Aliens, and Angels Visit Your Bedroom. And I think I put that up on some other sites as well. That's always one of my favorites because it's an interesting subject to me too. But yeah, when I was real little, I did, and I would see the Hat Man, which was just a shadow. In my parents' room, there was a street light out there, so there was a shadow on this main curtain, and I would lay in between them, and a few times I would see a perfect shadow show up in the middle of the night. I couldn't move. I'd be stuck between mom and dad, and they would have a hat, and they would just walk perfectly and slowly right across the curtain. And I always, when I was little, thought it was a cowboy. But as you get older and you start thinking about how you'd be frozen, I had some strange, real visual dreams, and you couldn't move, things like that. But a little bit. I'm glad that that's all I had, from being real little. I don't want to deal with that stuff. Don't like it. I don't want any shadow people crawling around. No thanks. No thanks. Brian Chacon, I'm not sure if I said that right. He says, what do you think about the pastors that are adhering to social distancing and masks? I'm just not surprised by it. That's all. I see it. I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen it around. I'm just not surprised by it. I don't know. It's a really tough one. It's a tough one. I don't know what I would do. I don't know if I wouldn't want to be in that position, but to have to lead a church right now through all this. But got to choose your battles also, Every week I find more videos of this mask madness. Again, I showed one just a few nights ago. I'm going to have to show you a bunch of the stuff that you all missed on the next KJ's What Happened. But there's some footage of a guy in a store being surrounded by 4 or 5 huge dudes wearing their masks. One of them just breathes, little mask just on top of his mouth and off. These guys just looking for a fight, But this one dude just wasn't wearing his mask, and they just terrorized him. They finally kicked him out of there, and then it shows them all chasing him in the parking lot, throwing things at him and hitting him. And it's like, dang. I mean, it made me think of crazy footage you see from those old Frankenstein movies of the villagers with their pitchforks and fires, chasing them down, But I see it quite a bit. You don't see it on news. They don't show it on local news. You could probably barely get away with showing some of it, on YouTube, depending on how you slide it in there. You gotta, like on these long shows, we can get away with a little more, I think, sometimes. Still have to be careful, but anyway. Yeah, I don't know, Brian. I'm not sure, man. I mean, I adhere to it where I live. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of it. But I also don't walk around thinking about how much I hate it. It's really important. I hope that helps somebody out there, but it'll make you sick. You can't walk around thinking, man, I'm an effing slave. Look at me. I'm effing pathetic. Just, if you're doing that, don't, don't. It's a part of it. I know we got to do it. I've been doing it, but then again, that's just me. You may be a whole different type of person, and maybe you're in a position somewhere out there, not just you, Brian, but anybody, where it feels right. Maybe you're meant to stand up. Maybe people need to hear you say something or hear you stand up. Just don't, be violent, don't hurt anybody, but who knows, man? I'm just talking for me personally. That's just how I've been doing. You know what I mean? I get a lot of my stuff out here online through what I do, but I'm just not ready to be a one-man army out here. Plus, where I live is a pretty sleepy type town, and people are fairly cool. Most of the time, I'm wearing it on my chin anyway, so, whatever, But as I said, that's me, and, you guys get your own thing going on, men and women out there, and, maybe you need to do a fun little revolt one day or something, or I don't know, take it up with God, take it up with the Lord, pray about these things, and who knows? Maybe that's something for somebody out there to do. I don't know. Let's see. Still scrolling down. Thanks, KD. Says, how's Chubbs doing? He's good, but he's sneezing a little bit these last few days. I'm hoping it's just something that's kind of passing by outside, Miss Gaia, KJ, do you believe clones are around already? I do. I just don't know to what degree. But yeah, I do. I do, certainly. There's so many strange things about that. So many weird rabbit holes. That even ties back to Trump, too. Remember there was that cover of Kanye's album with all these things that looked like synthetics? And Trump was in there. Then Kanye went crazy, they said, after he started spilling truth. And he came out with his blonde hair, and first person he went to was President Trump. And then later, Kanye, which that didn't end well, did it? But then Kanye started to try to become kind of this new spiritual religious leader. The whole thing's strange. Still scrolling down. All right, I'm going to play catch up now on the chat. Let's jump ahead a little bit. Liberty Cherry says, have you heard about the book The Last President by Ingersoll? Yeah. Is written in the early 1900s and didn't have Barron in there as well. Yeah, I've referenced that a few times. Excuse me. Yeah, I've mentioned that a few times as that might be what we're seeing. We might be seeing The Last President. Yeah, that's true, Blake. He probably did. Tiffany B. No, I don't think I caught the you know what. Yeah, everything else has been fine. Smell, taste. I did have a couple days there where I had some body aches and the temperature, but I'm through it now. I'm definitely feeling a lot better. You know what I mean? But thanks. I don't think that's what it is. Between you and me, I'm not going to go get checked for it. That's the last thing I'm going to do. Next thing you know, your parents are calling you 3 days later. Hey, these scientists and doctors came over here to see us today. Oh, really? What for? Still scrolling down. Hey, up north of the 49th, there's an old school friend of mine on YouTube. Nice to see you. Not one place have I worn it, she says. Not one in my area believes it. We are made of tougher stuff, I guess. Man, good for you. Well, I'm in a little college town, and it's run by very liberal, hippie-ish type people. In fact, even on our main street, it's changed so much. But even on my main street, there's a couple of old school diners, been there like 30 years or so, and now they have BL plus M messages in their windows and believe the oppressed, and things like this. And you know how that goes. So a lot of those people are totally in for the mask stuff. And some people do get pretty snipey out here about it, I've seen. So yeah, it's different for everybody and everywhere you go. I don't get out much with that anyway. But like I said, when I do, I've been doing it, or I'll just put it around my chin, depending on how I'm feeling about the people. You never know. But I know you've always had a tough spirit, so that's good to hear. I'm glad you're doing that. It's also nice to see you. Thanks again for dropping by. D-Ray says, KJ, what's your thoughts on the light side or the world order exposing the dark side of things? I've noticed a lot of talk, both sides mentioning the light, and feel it's going to deceive Christians. So I was saying earlier, it's the Masonic tiles, is the black and the white. They control both sides, or the red and the blue. They control both sides. Most of the time, to most degrees, right? And there's always that talk. I've heard a lot of that Benjamin Fulford stuff. Some of you know who he is. Supposed to be reporting on it's the white hats. There's a group of white hats, and they're battling and fighting. Now, I believe, as I mentioned earlier, God does have good people everywhere, even in politics and Washington and Hollywood, scattered about. But I imagine those people probably aren't the ones who are going to join a group, and be called the white hats or something. I mean, I think they're probably working more on the sly, try to keep things good. That's the way I see it. Maybe some of them more religious type people are involved in the white hat stuff, because there's some kind of strange religious cults out in Washington, D.C. too. So yeah, I don't fall for any of it. I just remember Jesus, man. That's it. I'm not trying to be funny here. I mean, some people may think I'm being funny, but no, seriously. I mean, just remember Jesus is the truth. He's the end of the rabbit hole. He's the anchor in truth, the ultimate truth. And that's it. So test everything. Test every spirit. Test every idea. Test everything, using Christ as the anchor, as the ultimate truth. And to me, that clears everything up. mostly, then we get involved, the flesh gets involved, our heads get involved. But that's how I try to determine things and what the truth is and what's going on. And I'm at peace with everything happening right now. I'm at rest because I know that's what I feel when I pray, is I know that Lord's in charge of this right now. And people ask what to do. Take that up with the Lord. Pray about it, because maybe you're meant to do something. Maybe I'm not living in a state where there's corruption happening right now. At least, everything seemed to turn out like it always does out here. But some of those other states where there's obvious corruption and stealing going on, maybe y'all are meant to go out there and peacefully protest, like really peacefully protest, but let your voice be heard, or call the local news or something. Say, come out. We're going to be talking out here about why this is a bad idea and why this needs to be exposed. Who knows? Try, right? We can't just say, oh, well, because I know earlier I said it'd be tough, because I also see one side where, who's going to show it, what media, but then that goes back to faith. If you believe in this, believe in what you're doing, pray about it, the Lord's with you, he'll provide ways that we can't even see coming. So does that make any sense? I hope so. Scrolling down a bit more. All right. Let's see what this is. Question. This is from Water Seeds Life. Have you seen the movie from 2013 called New World Order? It's on the channel Encourage TV. Not the best acting, but seemed accurate. Hey, cool. I haven't, but thank you very much. I'll look into that. Let's see here. Still scrolling down. Yeah, that's right, Blake. Benjamin Fulford, the Yakuza guy. Yeah. One of many shady characters that you come across in all these random rabbit holes, even connected back to Coast and George Norrie. I think he's had Fulford on there a few times as, an insider, Hey, Karen R. Thanks. Good to see you here. And let's see. Man, I think we did pretty good. I'm looking down. Here. We've gone about an hour and a half. Guys, I may go ahead and call it now. Gosh, I didn't even change the background. I hope that background's been okay for an hour and a half. Just noticed. But I may go ahead and call it now, I think, man. I'm still a little bit sick, get a little bit tired. And I've got work to do, but I'm feeling good enough to be back, man, like I said. So I've got more coming this week, more live shows. Working on the KJ's What Happened will most likely be a Monday and Friday show, because everything's speeding up, man. There's a lot going on. And then throughout the week, I'll post my videos here still on YouTube as well. I was sick the last week and a half, so I'm a little behind on things. But guys, thank you so much, man. Thanks for being here tonight. Thanks for taking part. This is fun. I just think I think I answered a bunch. Run into some spots where I'm missing a bunch. So I'm sorry if you asked a question and I missed it. But I'll also be doing more of these. We'll be doing more. Wow, it's a motorcycle out there. Be doing more of these and just hanging out, man. So I hope you guys enjoyed it for a while. It's still early enough. You can get out and do something on your Friday night. And you guys have a wonderful weekend. And big shout out, of course, to my Patreon and PayPal supporters. As always, guys, thank you so very much. I'd mentioned earlier about the Thescariestmovieever.tv. I'll be making a video for you guys in the next few days and just seeing what your thoughts are on this. I already explained earlier what happened. I thought I could live stream there and it would stay. After doing my live stream, it didn't stay. And then they told me, oh yeah, it can't stay. So almost defeated the whole purpose for doing it. So chances are I may be on Twitch. I may get on there this weekend and broadcast every Monday and Friday from Twitch, but it connects directly to my YouTube live, I think. I'm going to be researching this stuff. So that's just kind of where my head is right now. I can hear somebody is over in my Discord. Also, a link below to my Discord, man. If you guys want to hang out a little bit longer and just keep a conversation going with each other, go check out my Discord. There's a link below. I always have to explain this. Click the link, and the first page that comes up, it'll say expired link. It's not true. Click the blue box there, and then you'll come up to another page, look to the left-hand side, and click chat room, and you'll be in. And I'm sure there's already people there. I hear them going in there now. So still, check that out if you want to keep your conversations going, and, do it, man. Why not? Right? It's Friday night. Hang out. And what else? Oh, just links below, guys. I've got my BitChute below. I've got my minds.com, also my website. If you haven't seen The Scariest Movie Ever Made 2020, you can check it out there at whoiskjosborne.com. Got a great food emergency supply sponsor this month. They're running a fantastic special. You can get 2 weeks worth for under $100, and for under $100, and then a month worth for under $200. So it's a cool special. Check that out if you're interested. Also, free Brave browser. You can get DuckDuckGo and get rid of Google, and that's fantastic, and that's free. All right, so there you go. KJ the businessman. No. But anyway, that's it, guys, for real. It's good to be back. Like I said, I wasn't feeling good the last week or so. Hadn't been doing a lot of live shows or anything, but I'm feeling better. Really missed you guys, man. And just much love to you, okay? Hang out and just don't let it get you down what's going on, man, all right? Let's do a short prayer before we go here. Heavenly Father, thanks so much once again for giving us a great place to all hang out, a bunch of like-minded people. Even if some of the people out there aren't, at least we're all here together. And we can all come here to glorify you, to think about you, and that's our focus. You are our focus, Lord. And just thank you for giving us this place to think about all these different things, talk about all these different issues, and mostly just to be together. So thank you for that. And, of course, a lot of people are freaking out right now. A lot of people are wondering what's going to happen. Please, Lord, just be with all of us individually. Guide each one of us in the way we need to be guided. Show us whatever we need to be shown. Be in your will. And just be there with us, Father, please. Because you already know there's a lot of people on edge out there. But I know that you're out there with them, every one of them, Lord. So thank you so much. And we love you. And in Jesus' name I pray. All right, guys. Thank you so much once again. I appreciate you being here. It's a lot of fun hanging out. Enjoy your weekend. I'll be back with more soon. And I've also got a couple videos I got to finish up here too. So take care, and I'll see you later.